This 40-second long epic DreamWorks logo is unnecessarily epic and unnecessarily DreamWorks.
Here's my day so far.
Narration.
My end starts at the beginning.
Starting with the climax cliche. Coincidentally, Starting with the Climax is the working title for my sex tape. Coming soon is the alternate title.
Here is your minion.
Even non-minion minions now make me cringe.
You are destined for...
I didn't quite hear that last part, but it sounded important.
How does Megamind even remember this in such detail? Does this race have a photographic memory from conception? Because honestly, the ramifications for that are a bit unsettling. Sure, the gravitational pull of that black hole type thingy is enough to be pulling that entire planet in at an astonishing rate, but an escape pod the size of an infant? No worries. It's definitely gonna break free. So they're just gonna keep the baby in the prison? I guess in this world, wherever a baby pops up is where he or she is forced to live. Childcare is the equivalent of squatter rights in the Megamind universe. Also, they had flashcards at this prison. How many babies did they take in? This is a very dark society. Is Chewbacca hanging out here eating humans as well?
It was there that I once again ran into Mr. Goody Two-Shoes.
I know, right? It's almost as if the unlikely convenience of your continued childhood interaction is meant to serve as some sort of story plot. Why do popcorn containers in movies act like popcorn fire hydrants waiting to spray across rooms like some sort of kernel-based confetti cannon?
That's when I learned a very hard lesson.
I get that kids can be cruel, but this teacher should be fired immediately. Letting a student dole out the punishment? Allowing this to be the class picture? Not involving all the students in the crucial Itsy Bitsy Spider sing-along?
No matter how hard I tried, I was always the odd man out, the last one picked.
Troubled child becomes even more troubled and evil due to being the last one picked for school sports cliche. Also, look, if you want to gang up on some kid and throw dodgeballs at him, there really isn't a need to pick teams, unless this is a new dodgeball variant I'm unaware of.
Was this my destiny?
Hold on, I would think inventing something like this at a young age would be a ton more impressive than being stronger than everyone else.
Being bad is the one thing I'm good at.
But has he been bad? Megamind didn't do anything to end up in prison. He just landed there and was raised by the inmates. And so far, he's just made a few harmless inventions and been picked on by kids at school. Sounds not too far off from a normal life in the suburbs to me. If I know the laws of inertia, and I probably don't, unless those kids somehow buckled in for that ride, there will be a lot of unhappy parents of some very bruised up kids after that unauthorized field trip. Reading.
I decided to pick something a little more humble.
Also, we now enter minute 6 of this bloated opening exposition. I swear if this Will Ferration goes on much longer, I may be the one who goes full supervillain. This is an awfully big city for one of the headlines on the front page of the local paper to simply be shopping.
You're a villain, and you'll always be a villain. You'll never change, and you'll never leave.
You're fun.
Megamind would be diabolical at CinemaSins. Also, I wonder if it was J.K. Simmons' voice work here as the law enforcement officer that got him the role, barely appearing as James Gordon in the DCEU movies. Also, how exactly are they talking to each other? That appears to be a steel door with a glass-plated window. If they screamed at each other, they could maybe make out a few words, but they certainly wouldn't be able to carry on a conversation like this.
You were right.
I'll always be a villain.
We can't play this song, but can't pass up those on-the-nose song choices. Were Bad Moon Rising or The Boys Are Back in Town not available? Also, he gives the guards at least a few more seconds to take him down. Are they required by law to listen to a villain's pun before taking action? Why would Metro City go through the trouble of putting together a wall for Metro Man to punch through? If he's being honored, he's clearly been around for a minute, saving people's lives. And all those people have seen him punch through walls. This is a lot of overhead for a 2-second bit. Metro Man cares not for your puny human concepts like safety, parental consent, or shaken baby syndrome.
And I love you, random citizen.
And I'm going to show you this by splashing every single one of you with a ton of water like you were at a Shamu show down at SeaWorld. Seriously, I know they came out the same year, but this and Despicable Me are the same f***ing movie. How did this even happen? 2 animated films based on the villain's viewpoint is very f***ing specific. It's not like these were just 2 movies about volcanoes or Steve Prefontaine.
You call this predictable?
You're alligators, yes.
Even if she did know the alligator thing was going to happen, those are f***ing alligators, and they are jumping 2 inches from her face.
Give it up, Megamind. Your plans never work.
But he never closed the floor, right? So there are still alligators underneath Roxanne while she's being smug. Why is no one concerned about these alligators? Metro City appears to be a fairly large place, but how many abandoned observatories could there be?
This dome is obviously lined with copper. Copper drains my powers.
Your weakness is copper?
Aside from not being a funny joke, how has this not come up once in the whole time they've been battling each other? Even though this ends up being straight subterfuge, it should have been easy enough to prove false. Do they not have pennies in Metro City? Wait a second, they're in Michigan? And by the looks of this laser pointer, they're firmly mid-mitten and away from Lake Michigan. Last I checked, Cadillac area wasn't on the coast, as all the outside shots make it appear to be. Also, if they landed at Christmas, I'm guessing the environment here would have contained a bit more winter weather than we're seeing on these arrival shots. Believe me, I've been to Michigan in the winter. It's so cold there, it makes the relationship between Drake and Pusha T look warm.
I did it! Atrocity is mine!
If by did it, Megamind means he committed brutal murder, then yeah, I guess he f***ing did it. F***ing dark-ass kids movie.
Drop
stop him!
Wait, that worked? Megamind isn't holding any weapons. He's just walking toward the crowd. Why did the Minnie Riperton song even start playing? That's a tape deck with one cassette tape in it, and Highway to Hell wasn't finished, so it should have just kept belting out AC/DC, even if Minion can't stop it. Movie doesn't even know how to boombox correctly.
I'm sure we'd all like to know what you plan to do with us and this city.
I'm not sure I understand why anyone is even remotely concerned. No one seems afraid of Megamind. Roxanne wasn't even concerned after she realized Megamind had tricked Metro Man, and he wouldn't be saving her.
Imagine the most horrible, terrifying, evil thing you can possibly think of, and multiply it by 6!
Megamind!
Oh, that, sir, is called a window.
Window.
All the kids are looking through them.
How does Micromind not even know what a window is? He had them in his school, in his car, and yes, even in his evil lair. This ignorance is not only unrealistic, it's not even that funny.
Then why do I feel so melancholy?
The running joke of Megamind's inability to pronounce certain things is harshing my mellow, man. Melancholy and Metro City have zero in common, other than they start with M and have the same number of syllables, if you make Metro City one word. But they sound different, and they have different inflections. Also, he pronounces Metro Man right, so why would he say Metro City incorrectly? Shouldn't it be Metro Man?
I don't know, Hal. I don't really feel like being around a bunch of people.
No, that's the best part. It'll just be like you and me.
Nothing like including a bunch of sexual predator jokes in a kid's movie.
Battles we will now never have.
Why is she just now hearing this? Apparently, the acoustics on this observation deck have a keen sense of dramatic timing.
In other words, I have no purpose.
But Metro City isn't the only city, right? So there are other cities to conquer and other heroes to fight. Megamind could easily set up shop in Akron, or Chicago, or even Cleveland.
Bernard, it's Roxanne.
How does Roxanne have Bernard's personal cell phone number?
I just found his secret hideout.
But he had taken up residence in the city's Capitol building, right? So he shouldn't be that hard to find.
I'll call you tomorrow, partner.
Even though I'm not going to offer you a ride home after saving me and letting me know you walked here. Since we now know we're in Michigan, we also know that the station call letters are impossible. All broadcasters east of the Mississippi River are required to use a W at the beginning, like WMCP, or WJR, or why am I still watching this discount Despicable Me?
I am your father.
Is it a sin that Will Ferrell is doing Brando better than Brando in a shitty animated film? I think it is. As Hal 2.0 shifts his gaze to appear like he's looking at himself carrying Roxanne, now might be a good time to remind the movie that this is not how mirrors work. His new line of sight wouldn't even be anywhere near that mirror.
No freaking way!
I wasn't finished.
I'm gonna be a hero!
Did he grow even more on his way down? Because if that crop top is average width and length, Hal is now about 13 feet tall, with a shoulder width of at least 6 feet. Look, I know it's a cartoon and all, but can we at least keep some semblance of consistency? Why is this gym scoreboard on? And more importantly, why is it 3-2 with 10 minutes and 40 seconds left? After the tragic death of Metro Man, wouldn't continuing to use his image on advertising be a bit tacky? Tooth Time needs to get their together.
And brilliantly told, by the way. Okay, now you tell one.
How is Megamind able to Clark Kent Roxanne like this? She's been kidnapped by Megamind many, many times and has heard him speak. He has a very distinct voice. She doesn't find it odd at all that Bernard sounds just like him, or at the very least sounds nothing like he did when she ran into him the first time. The back of this book is clearly from a book called The Happiest Me I Can Be, which doesn't show up until much later in the movie. It's almost like the movie didn't think I'd have a pause button on my remote.
I was always the last one picked for everything.
It's too bad that we didn't go to the same school.
Yeah, and then you could have made fun of him, along with everyone else.
What's the T stand for?
Titan.
Titan? Or Titan? I know it seems like a silly question, but if you check the credits and this joke, it appears to be Titan. But this moment clearly says Titan. And the subtitles actually switch from one to the other about halfway through. Considering Titan is just plain silly, we're going to use Titan from here on out and just blame the movie for its lack of clarity. Either way, here's an extra 5 Sins movie just for making us have to explain all that nonsense.
There's this really, really good looking one I've got my eye on currently.
Okay, fine. His superhero powers come with built-in zoom and enhance. But there is no way the city park is in a direct line of sight from Roxanne's apartment on the 20th floor of this high-rise.
On the count of 3, unsheath your churro.
Oh, it's one of those superhero parties.
What happens when Roxanne finds out who you really are?
Not to mention you presumably murdered 2 of the most important men in her life.
Now give me the keys!
No!
You knew this car was there. You were just running around it 10 seconds ago. Does making something invisible also remove it from memory like some sort of eternal sunshine of the spotless Megamind?
Let me make it clear. Code, I don't need you.
Glad movie has time for this pointless conflict.
I know I am so close. I can feel it.
Why is she hanging all this stuff from the ceiling? Have modern-day investigative reporters traded in the evidence board for the evidence mobile? Good thing Roxanne's revelation coincided with the exact moment all 200 pieces of paper were facing the right direction. That sure seems convenient. Also, what is even going on here? Didn't she put these here? And they just happen to do this? And why does it even matter that she sees this?
But I have powers. I have a cape. I'm the good guy.
You are a good guy, Hal.
But is he, though? I'm not sure the movie has done anything up to this point but paint Shallow Hal as a borderline sociopathic stalker. How the f*** is she supposed to get down from there? I'm sure the movie will gloss over any kind of explanation of how this happens and just have her on the ground at some point doing reporter things. If it's this easy for someone to touch the watch and ruin Megamind's disguise, why wouldn't he just put it somewhere else on his body, where it can't be as easily reached?
You destroyed Metro Man. You took over the city.
Murdered Metro Man is what he actually did. Everyone seems to be tiptoeing over that, even though it's the f***ing inciting incident.
Do you really think that I would ever be with you?
No.
And neither do I, which is why the end of this movie is going to feel so false when she eventually does ride the blue wave. That is where all this forced emotion is going, right? This is a populous city, and we just saw a lot of people at the restaurant, so why are there 0 people or cars out in the streets? Did Metro City think there'd be a Batman v Superman fight downtown?
Where is the one they call Titan? Challenge me, if you dare!
But other than Roxanne, no one knows who Titan is, right? So this was a weird way to begin the charade.
You fell for the oldest evil trick in the book!
The oldest trick in the book is a guy in a black mamba suit steering a robot tapping you on the shoulder? That is super specific. This random billboard seems unnecessarily double entendred for a kids movie. Takes me back to the good old days when animators would draw mermaid buildings that look like dicks.
Time out!
The driver of that gas truck is most certainly dead. So when Roxanne said she might know a place, she meant his f***ing super lair. Why didn't she just lead with that?
Hey.
Oh good, a twist! I was hoping movie would throw another plot line into this already tangled mess of a story. The split with Minion, the romance with Roxy, Titan going full villain, and now this? I can't decide which one of these boring plot lines I'm least interested to see resolved.
Using my super speed, I decided to go clear my head.
If Metro Man has this kind of super speed, doesn't that mean Titan does as well? If so, why didn't he use it in his fight with Megamind?
Metro Man was finally dead. And Music Man was born.
Oh, you've got trouble. Right here in Metro City, with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for put me out of my misery already.
Thousands have already fled the city in a mass exodus.
But Megamind had taken over the city before Titan. Did no one try to leave then?
Oh, and just so you don't get cold feet?
Roxanne.
And that was the day that Metro City was saved by the power of blue balls.
There is no Easter Bunny. There is no Tooth Fairy.
Spoiler alert.
Presentation!
Where did all these extra brain bots come from? Were they hanging out with all of Tony Stark's extra suits from Iron Man 3? Megamind clearly graduated with honors from the Prometheus School of driving away from things.
No.
It's possible that Megamind had turned over a new leaf for good, but why does Roxanne care? He's kidnapped her many times in the past and created a false identity so she would fall in love with him. This is the most serious case of Stockholm Syndrome I've ever seen represented in an animated film.
So, you're the punk I've heard about.
Even animated superhero movies from 7 years ago just couldn't resist the sweet, sweet nectar of finishing the movie with a superhero battling essentially a different version of himself.
Surprise! He's the real hero.
Megamind.
Wait, what? So Minion has been Megamind for how long? And the real Megamind has just been biding his time waiting to appear as Metro Man? Why is that something that you would wait to reveal? Also, now that I think about it, when did he even copy Metro Man with the watch? Not like he had time to do anything between prison and trying to save Roxanne.
Pretty sneaky, sis.
That one's for all the youngsters who were just waiting for an early 80s Connect 4 commercial reference. Your patience has been rewarded.
But there's only one person I know who calls this town Metrocity.
Nice catch, Titan. Good thing you went ahead and flew away scared and then waited a few minutes to return with this knowledge. The scriptwriters thank you.
The invisible car.
That's right, the entire climax turns on a character seeing the invisible car from a distance. No debris revealing it or anything like that, just an invisible object that is supposedly spottable from 100 feet away.
Hey, remember that night that I dumped you?
You're bringing this up now?
Well, I did look back, and you should look back.
You couldn't have said that any faster, Roxanne. Maybe just Megamind, turn around. Maybe save the sentimental crap for pillow talk later.
There's a benefit to losing. You get to learn from your mistakes.
You can't have it both ways, movie. How can both Roxy and the Blue Buffoon see this car, but Titan not know it's even there?
So, this is how it ends.
I wish.
Olo.
Neat trick. But quick question. If you had the dehydration gun this whole movie, why not just dehydrate Titan at some point?
Thing about bad guys, they always lose.
Tell that to Kaiser Soze.
Code. We're the good guys now.
Code. I guess we are.
Code. This running code gag should have ended 40 minutes ago.
We won, we won, we won!
Except Megamind is responsible for all of this, but hey, let's just celebrate him and hope he doesn't f*** up again.
Megamind, if you please.
Whatever happened to those 88 consecutive life sentences? How short of a memory does this city have? Also, isn't he still the primary suspect in the murder of Metro Man? I mean, we know he's alive and well, but they don't, right? Bad dancing.
Oh, this has been the worst day of my entire life.
Oh, no worries.
Post-credits, assault and battery.
me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God!
Ever since CinemaSins began, the most requested thing has been TV Sins, and now it's a reality. Click the link in the description below to check it out. And now, the audio outtakes.
Here's my day so far.
Go yourself, San Diego.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Maybe you're just sitting around, reading Guns and Ammo, masturbating in your own feces. Do you just stop and go, wow, it is amazing how crazy I really am.
Black Mamba.
Sir, I think this is a bad idea.
They laughed at Louis Armstrong when he said he was going to go to the moon. Now he's up there, laughing at them.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Is that a hair gel?